I'm going to make sure that my microphone looks right. It does. How you doing? How you doing? All right. So today, another installment, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Here we go. Connection today is going to be cortisol and insulin resistance. And I'm going to give you 15 symptoms that your body might be indicating that you have high cortisol levels before you even realize it. Okay, that's what we're going to do today. Where is this all coming from? Well, it always comes from you guys. It always comes from conversations that I'm having in the background, because it's very much like, I was having a conversation last night with a friend of mine, a team member, a business team member. And I was just talking about how I have to, good morning, Terry, good to see you. I have to remember, like I have to put myself in the position of other people who are having a stressed season, because I'm not in one, right? I've had them. I've taken care of my mother with dementia. My brother was in the hospital. Like we had, everybody's got stuff, right? But when we begin to back up the frustrations that we're having, if we can back up the bus, I always say you back it up to insulin resistance, right? Right? Because like if you're trying to lose weight and you can't lose weight and you're insulin resistant, hello, just hit your head against a brick wall forever and ask yourself, why is the old ways not working? Why are they not working? But it's the same thing when it comes to cortisol. And I know that I mention it a lot and blah, blah, blah. And I talk about how you've got to get your sleep fixed and you got to get your stress fixed. Well, I thought, okay, let's just do a deep dive quickly. And let's talk about 15 signs that your body is dealing with high cortisol and you just don't even know it. Like you're not tracking that this is high cortisol, okay? Because the frustration on the other end of this is the inability to lose weight. The frustration is the inability to sleep. And then your insulin resistance and your cortisol is up higher again the next day. And you're like living this whole cycle. It's like just round and round and round she goes, and you don't know how to break it. But you can. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Good morning, Magda. Good morning, Claudette. Good to see you. I know I can see I was missing something here on Instagram. I don't know what it was. Come on in from the balcony on TikTok. Of course, on TikTok, we do not know how many days we have left. It's the talk of the town, so to speak. So I put my contact information up there for you guys. So if you really do want to be able to just talk to somebody on a regular basis or get information on a regular basis about insulin resistance, this is literally what I talk about all the time. My dad died of type 2 diabetes when he was 63 years old. Like I'm 3 years away from being his age when he died. And my whole life was type 2 diabetes and medical procedures, etc. Emergency. That's so noisy. Emergency, flights home because my dad was having, all of these surgeries. And there's just a lot of obesity and type 2 in my Italian family. And so we talk about this every day because it's not a terminal diagnosis. And every single person on the face of the planet needs to hear that. And I used to think, and I used to say a lot, was, oh, you're so funny. Oh, you're good. You're totally good. No problem. It was I used to say, it was the standard American diet, sad, standard American diet. Guess what? Some of you are from Australia, India, South Africa, the UK. Where else do I talk to people from? It's everywhere, you guys. It's everywhere. So it's not just the standard American diet anymore. But we can turn it around. It's turnaroundable. It's fixable. So doing very well. Thank you. Doing very well. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Okay, so let's talk about the 15 symptoms. Let's get into it. Let's not waste another minute. Okay, which ones of these do you have? If you're brave enough, just put it in the comments below. And if you're not, that's okay. You don't have to share all of your stuff with everybody. But if you want to, let's just chat about this, okay? So you're waking up exhausted. Number one, you're waking up exhausted. You made it today, Carol. I'm so glad. Welcome to the party. Welcome, welcome from Uganda. Very nice. Very nice. I'm trying to remember. I think my husband has been in Christian radio for like 40 years. You guys may not know that about me. A fun little fact about my husband, actually. I think they have a station in Uganda. So that's very interesting. I'm telling you, the world is very small when you're online. It's very small. All right, you're waking up exhausted. Even after a full night's sleep, you feel drained in the morning. Symptom number 1. Number 2, increased belly fat, especially around the midsection, despite eating well and exercising. Number 3, frequent sugar or carb cravings. Your body craves quick energy due to unstable blood sugar. We talk about that one a lot, don't we? Number 4, wired but tired at night. You feel exhausted all day, but you struggle to wind down before bed. Number 5, midday energy crash. You feel sluggish and you need caffeine or sugar to keep going. Number 6, poor sleep quality. You wake up in the middle of the night or you have difficulty falling asleep. Number 7, brain fog. Oh, that one is a stinker. Brain fog really made me wonder, like, am I just getting old? Is this what it means just to get old? It made me feel super vulnerable. I was in my upper 40s. Terrible. Trouble concentrating, remembering details, making decisions, brain fog. Number 8, a weakened immune system. You catch colds easily or you struggle with slow healing. Number 9, digestive issues. Bloating, constipation, acid reflux due to stress, disrupting your gut health. Do these sound familiar, people? God, we talk about these a lot. Number 10, hair thinning or shedding. This is so frustrating for women, isn't it? Increased hair loss, especially at the temples or on your crown. At your temples or on your crown. Number 11, irritability or mood swings. We'll blame it on the cortisol. We'll just blame it on the cortisol. Small things easily frustrate or overwhelm you. Number 12, increased anxiety or panic. Oh, I'll talk about that one in just a minute. Feeling on edge, restless, or more anxious than usual. Number 13, frequent headaches or muscle tension, especially in the neck, shoulders, or jaw. Number 14, irregular menstrual cycles. You might be like me and I'm postmenopause, so that might not apply. However, irregular menstrual cycles, more PMS symptoms, longer or shorter cycles, or skipped periods. And the last one, salt cravings. Salt cravings. A sign your adrenals are under stress and struggling to regulate sodium. That is one that I had never heard of. That your adrenals are stressed and they're struggling to regulate your sodium. Like, who knew your adrenals was regulating your sodium to begin with? I mean, that's very interesting. So high cortisol can silently wreak havoc on your body before you even notice that something is off. Have you experienced any of these signs? I would love to know if you've experienced any of these signs. Oh, his channel. Well, that's a good question. In Uganda, I don't know what it would be. Here in the States, it's Praise Live. Praise Live. So you would have to look that up and see. I'm not really sure. I'll have to ask him that question. You had 9 of these before you got your insulin resistance under control. Holy shnikey, Terry. That's amazing. So, thanks for even just saying that, because this is the truth. Okay, so had a conversation last night with somebody who was in my inbox and talking to me about high stress in her life. And actually 2 people, but this specific one. And her comment to me was, I'm a Christian. I just don't know that I should be having stress like this, kind of like this isn't proper. Like I'm supposed to be able to handle it all. I'm supposed to be able to whatever. And I said, you know what? This is the deal. This is a hormonal conversation, not a shame conversation. I don't think I said it to her that way, but I'm going to just rephrase it right now. Because we talk about that a lot, don't we? We talk about how I went through my own journey of dealing with like my connections to food from childhood, being Italian, all of the, you're told that you should eat in respect to the person who made the food. And then when you gain weight, you're told you should lose weight. And then when you lose weight, you're told not to be too skinny, all of these pieces. And I decided when I started my journey, as I was entering my 50s, choo, my train came into the station and I was a hot mess express, like big time. And now I'm exiting my 50s and I am like, I feel the best I have like probably ever felt in my life. Because this is a hormonal conversation. So to shame ourselves during the process is of no help. I mean, I'll explain these connections with insulin resistance. Hopefully you'll walk away with a better scientific understanding and then you'll go, oh, I can stop beating myself up. I can stop being unkind to myself. That's always one of my major goals. It's like a core value. So when I started to assess food, I did it just me and Jesus in my head. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want all of the negative naysayers. I didn't want all the people, right? But I decided in that moment that I was going to do it without any shame on me because I couldn't control what had happened in my childhood, or I couldn't control the messages that were sent to me, or I couldn't control whatever. It doesn't matter. Blah, blah, blah. I was just going to do that. Blah, blah, blah. Because who cares? Oopsie. Who cares? Now I'm going to fix it. So we're going to move on. That was kind of my attitude. Same thing with this. Okay. So here she is saying, I'm a Christian. I shouldn't have stress like this. Like I should know how to deal with this better. Stop it. Stop that conversation right now. Shut it down. Because just like your weight is not a calorie in, calorie out conversation, it's a hormonal conversation. It's the same thing with high stress, anxiety, depression, cortisol. Like, let's talk about why this is possibly true in your body, and then we can deal with it. I even went so far as to put together a cart for you guys today. I quickly put together a cart. And then I'll tell you where to find that. And you guys can just pick and choose what you want out of it. You don't have to get everything. But I thought to myself, as I was sitting down, I was talking to my daughter last night about another person who has a lot of stress because of life circumstances that happened over the last few years. And my daughter, who's also in business with me, she's working with her in dealing with some of these pieces. Okay. That's connected more to her trichotillomania. I've talked about that before, adaptogenic herbs. Anyway, that reel that I did on TikTok a few years ago, it keeps coming up. Anyway, because people have anxiety, they have things going on. So we were sitting down talking about, okay, what are the things that we would put into a care cart, a care package for somebody who is dealing with anxiety, high cortisol, all of the things. So I put together a cart this morning. We'll chat about that. That's fine. So cortisol actually hijacks your metabolism. And that is so dang frustrating when we think we're doing all the right things. When we think that we are finally on our game, we're going to eat healthy. We're going to remember when we talked about how the second Friday of January is officially called, apparently, I don't know who calls it this, but apparently it's called Quitters Friday, because most people don't make it past the second, Friday of January. I mean, we can probably all relate, right? But here we are, and it's hijacking our metabolism, and we're trying so hard to make strides. We're trying so hard to make gains, and we can't because we're trying to take ground, and we just can't because we are not addressing the actual issue, which is the big cortisol issue, which is a hormone, which is a sister hormone in my layman term to insulin. Like they're just sister hormones, just wreaking havoc on your belly fat and your metabolism and all of the things. So most people think of stress as just an emotional thing, but it's actually a full body hormonal storm. Okay. High cortisol floods your system, pushing your body into fight or flight mode. It triggers insulin resistance, making it nearly impossible to burn fat. Like, good luck to you. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I mean, honestly, it's a pain. It's a real pain, right? Triggers insulin resistance, making it nearly impossible to burn fat. Your liver dumps glucose into your bloodstream, keeping your blood sugar high. Your body stores everything as fat, especially in your belly, to protect itself. Over time, this leads to exhaustion, inflammation, sugar cravings, and thyroid issues. All right, which one of these have we not talked about? Like almost impossible to even say. We've talked about all of these because they're all connected. And the sooner you understand that this is all connected, the sooner you're able to go, okay, fine. I'm going to pull back my arrow and I'm going to target my supplementation towards insulin resistance, towards high cortisol. I'm just going to target instead of throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks, hoping something stays. I'm actually going to take on my insulin and my cortisol like it's my job. It's like my job in 2025. I'm going to take on my insulin and my cortisol, and I'm going to pull back that arrow. This is why I talk about two things and two things only: targeted supplementation and food ingredient trade outs. And you can be in a completely different universe in this year, a completely different universe. So there you go. You know, you have cortisol issues. You're having yours tested in 2 weeks. I can't wait to hear, Lisa. And I know it's such a freaking journey, and I'm sorry that it's such a journey. So it's just the way that it is. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay. Hold on. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Okay, we're good. We're good. So that is cortisol hijacking your metabolism. Okay. Signs that your body is screaming for help that most women don't even realize. We went through those 15 symptoms, but here's just kind of like a nutshell, right? You're waking up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. You're craving sugar and carbs all day long. You feel wired but tired at night. Your belly fat is increasing even with a healthy diet. You feel more anxious, irritable, and overwhelmed than usual. Okay, does this sound familiar? Because it's not just stress. It's not just stress. These are your hormones being completely out of balance. And they're kind of like, help me, help me. And we don't know how to help because we've only ever been taught in Western society how to put Band-Aids on everything. Band-Aids and Band-Aids and Band-Aids. Very frustrating, right? So the cortisol insulin resistance connection that nobody is telling you about. Let's go. Let's talk about that. Good to see you guys on TikTok. Come on in. Come on in and join the party. Come in from the balcony. It's really nice to see you guys. Don't know what I'll do if TikTok goes away in a couple of days. I know they're working on it. We'll see. The cortisol insulin resistance connection. When cortisol is high all day long, just high, 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 your cells stop responding to insulin. So did you hear the connection? We always talk about how your cell closes the door. It's like your storage unit, your cells. The storage door closes and you can't get insulin into your cell to give you energy, and you can't get, and then your body keeps producing more and more insulin. Well, the truth is that when your cortisol is high all day long, which is it's your fight or flight stress hormone, you're constantly triggering it, your cells actually stop responding to insulin. Because after a while, your cells are like, okay, back off, buddy. Just back off. We're stressed out. We're closing the door. We're changing the locks. You do not have access anymore, little Mr. Insulin hormone. No access. So you can't bring sugar into me for energy, and you're just going to go make more, Mr. Pancreas. That's what you're going to do. You're going to go make more, and then you're going to store all that excess glucose that we can't seem to deal with because we can't put it in the cell because the cell door is closed and it changed the lock. So now we're like, you're just going to pile on fat, aren't you? That's what you're going to do because you are a fat storing hormone. So cortisol and insulin are like in tandem with each other. One is shutting down the ability for the other one to be used by the cell, etc. Round and round and round we go. This means that your body keeps producing more and more insulin to manage your blood sugar. Up, 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 up. Over time, this locks fat in place, leading to weight gain, especially around the belly. The belly fat! We get so tired of belly fat, don't we? It also triggers inflammation, leading to joint pain, brain fog, and hormone imbalances. You know, one of the things that I like to remind myself, like when I'm sitting down and doing gratitude, you know, in the morning, I love to remember that I wake up in the morning and I do not ache. And you know, your aching doesn't have to be because you had a surgery in a joint, right? Like I had shoulder surgery when I was right at the beginning of my 50s. Threw me into menopause. That's a whole other story. But I don't ache. I can get tight though, right? I can get tight because, you know, like whatever, you're doing computer work, blah, blah, blah. And I can tell when I need it to, you know, to get it worked out. But in my joints, in my body, I do not wake up and ache. But that's because inflammation is low, insulin is low. I really have dialed in my sleep. Like, I love my sleep. My sleep routine is really good. And I love it because I know then that the next day my cortisol is down. And so it's not causing more inflammation, et cetera, right? And basically, you don't want high anything in your body messing up like how you're feeling about stuff. Okay, so how do you lower cortisol and reverse this without prescriptions? How do you do this? How is this possible that all of these pieces of the puzzle of why you are messed up? How can you do this without scripts? Because those are the answers that we get when we go to the doctor. Scripts, scripts, scripts. And it's not very, I mean, seriously, this is ridiculous, right? Okay, the first one that they're recommending in supplementation is magnesium glycinate. You guys, I harp on magnesium all the time. Currently, I'm not taking one in my line. I'm taking another one until mine is launched in March. I am so excited about this launch. You guys are on my site, kirstenliebelt.com. Do one swipe up and you'll see a little form. Your name and your email, and you can be on the VIP list first to know. And so many of you are filling that out. I mean, the demand to know how to have a good magnesium glycinate blend is super high. Last night I went online. The one that I take has some ingredients in it that my daughter just doesn't do well with. And so I'm like, oh, I'll just find her an alternative. No problem. She just needs an alternative for another month because ours is launching. So do you know how hard it was to find a decent magnesium glycinate blend that wasn't just straight glycinate? I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why is this so hard? So anyway, mine is a blend. I'll share all of the details when it launches at the beginning of March. So a magnesium glycinate, take it before bedtime. Get yourself a good blend. If you can only get a glycinate for right now until mine launches, that's fine, of course, right? Take it before bed because it calms your nervous system. It calms your nervous system. You are probably doing things every day that your body is trying to help you to regulate your nervous system and you don't even know you're doing it. That's probably another really good topic for a live, is to talk about how our bodies are trying to regulate our nervous system and we're not even knowing that this is what's happening. So it'll lower nighttime cortisol. Okay, so magnesium glycinate. Now, the others, these are the ones, the second one that I don't have in my line that is sugar-free is an electrolyte. So a good electrolyte, I don't have a code for it or anything. LMNT, that's a good sugar-free one. And then there's another one, Salty, SALTT. there are some out there that are sugar-free, decent ingredients, getting your electrolytes, your potassium, your sodium, your magnesium, drinking electrolytes on a regular basis. Very, very, it supports your adrenal function and your hydration. All right, so these are the ones that I do have in the cart, in the cortisol care cart. If you are wanting to just see pieces in one place, of course, you don't have to get all of them, but this is a good, well-rounded conversation for you. If you're looking to do something without scripts all the time, the young lady that my daughter is working with now, she is on an anti-sadness, speaking code, med. And you do, she's going to probably, I'm assuming she's probably going to try to work her way off of that, right? Because we don't like the side effects of, what they offer us. This is ridiculous. So what if we get our own body functioning, getting everything firing properly, right? So the first two things then in the cart are going to be adaptogenic herbs. Adaptogenic herbs are God's gift to us. They are herbs that help our body adapt to stress. Really important, really helpful. I am convinced. In fact, I got a note from a girlfriend of mine today. Her daughter just had a baby. And I just saw a brief little section of the text of what she's dealing with. And I went, oh, I'm going to ask her a few more questions. I bet this is hormonal. And I bet she just needs to get on some good adaptogenic herbs. So I'm probably just going to drop her some in the mail. Because I'm like, had I understood what I'm about to share with you for supplementation, had I done this in my 20s when my postpartum was so off the charts. I gave birth to my 9-pound, 13-ounce baby boy. I had been gestational diabetic. I gained like 60 pounds. I was a total wreck. I lost a lot of blood when I was delivering him. I go home with a Foley catheter in. A Foley catheter. Do you guys know what that is? It's where the bag is attached to your leg. Like I was a wreck. And my postpartum depression was to the moon, off the charts. My mom got on the phone with me, and within 2 seconds, she says to me, "You need to come out and stay with me. You don't sound good." So when I say that I wish so badly I would have understood some of these pieces, but it's also what made it so that in my 40s, when some of those pieces started to kind of like return, I went, oh, I recognize this. This is familiar. And I was so open in my brain to use adaptogenic herbs, to use alternative thought process. And it set me on this course that I'm on now, where I can talk to you about using targeted supplementation to bring down your insulin, bring down your sugars, actually be able to lose weight, bring down your cortisol, bring back into balance your world, get your engine functioning from the inside out. It comes from a place of that was so intense in that moment. He was born on the 20th. My birthday was 1 week later. And I'm trying to remember if I turned 24. So I think I had him at 23. I turned 24, and 1 week later, because I was such a wreck, like I said, I had lost a lot of blood, that my hemoglobin was way down. And I honestly was this close, in my opinion, to being unfit to take care of my son in that moment. I wondered why people weren't coming and taking him from me and helping me. I mean, I was really bad. I literally, and this may be you, there might be somebody listening today that's like, oh my gosh, she's describing my situation right now. I literally couldn't smile. My mouth was like this. I know that looks lovely, doesn't it? My mouth was down. I literally couldn't smile. I can close my eyes and remember like it was yesterday, being at my mom's table, birthday cake, people singing happy birthday to me, and I literally couldn't smile. That's how out of whack I was. So adaptogenic herbs, I don't say it lightly. They changed my life. So when it comes to high cortisol, or when it comes to really needing to love your adrenals, which regulate your hormones, that's what we're talking about. Okay. Cortisol is a hormone, insulin is a hormone, etc. So this is off topic just a tiny bit, but it's a sister topic. Okay. So adaptogenic herbs, the two that you'll see in the cart, one will be a rhodiola product and one will be an ashwagandha. And the rhodiola, you'll just have to look on the bottle. It's a rhodiola green tea extract. That's the one that I started with. Completely helped me with mental clarity, completely helped me with my ability to multitask. And it is a mood brightener and a mind brightener. And if anybody needs help ever talking about how to dose it, that's where you would want to definitely like message me, because there's actually a book that talks about how to properly dose rhodiola. And I feel like what happens is a lot of times we either buy products that are super inferior in their potency, and we're like, yeah, I tried that. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Or we underdose because we don't know the basics of doing that. Excuse me. So anyway, and then the ashwagandha, I take 2 ashwagandha every single night before I go to bed. Ashwagandha helps with sleep, stress, and mood. Okay. And you're wanting to bring down your cortisol at night while you're sleeping. The second thing would be a really good fish oil. Okay. So the adaptogenic herbs, they help your body adapt to stress. That's why they're called adaptogenic, adapt to stress. Okay. 2 of those. Fish oil lowers inflammation and balances your stress hormones. Did you know that about fish oil? So you'll see a really basic fish oil in there, but it's wild caught. You don't want a farmed fish oil in a supplement. You don't want concentrated badness. Like that doesn't make sense at all. Same thing with the adaptogenic herbs. You don't want concentrated plant leaves that have been sprayed with glyphosate. Like talk about making your body work backwards. Doesn't make sense. The third one is the liver one. So if you're already taking the trio for your insulin resistance, the liver one is phenomenal, because your liver, when working properly, will help you dump excess cortisol. So again, engine from the inside out. Change things from the inside out, and you will see such good results. So that is, it helps flush out excess cortisol. That's what one of the jobs that your liver does. What happened to me postpartum was commonly done, not pretty, but true, still done today. What do you mean, Linda? Tell me what you mean by that. Like, what is common? Just how they sent me home and without any help? Is that what you mean? Because it was definitely like, I knew how to, then when you watch your daughter have her babies, and I was like, oh, because, this is so common. Not everybody. And women are actually rising up and trying different things. Like some of them are encapsulating their placentas. And I never did that. So I don't know the degree of success that brings, but it makes sense to me. But anyway, so the liver one, that's going to be in that cart, in the cortisol care cart. Then to help your blood sugar, I put the glucose health in there, because again, you guys, you can make such a dent. And if you want to know anything about like the trio, like if you back up for just a second, look at the button that says trio testimonials. It's a Google sheet. And it's not even all of them. It's just a good compilation of testimonies. I'm just telling you, like, so that one is in there for that reason. And then the last one would be the gut primer and the stress relief probiotic. Now, if you do not know about the stress relief probiotic, I'll talk about the gut primer in just a second. I have had so many testimonies from you and my daughter tell me that takes the edge off of my stress. Like I would have never thought that a probiotic would have that effect. But it literally does say, let's see if I can find it for you guys. It literally does say that it helps with mental capacity. Who would think that a probiotic could do that? But it's true. And so that particular probiotic, if you have high cortisol, if you need to take the edge off of your stress, high recommendation. The gut primer is the last one that I'll just share about here that I have in the cart. And again, nobody needs to have everything unless you really feel like you need to combat. You need to go to war and take back your body in 2025. I even threw in a chamomile tea, an organic chamomile tea, because that is a for real stress bringer downer, right? It helps. But when it comes to the primer, 90% of your serotonin is made in your gut. If you have a messed up gut, if you are leaching nutrients because you have a leaky gut, like you have got to shore up the walls. You have got to begin to put into place the structure that your gut needs to actually absorb nutrients that are super basic to you, that could like take the edge off of stress and anxiety. Simple things that we just don't, we're only accustomed to throwing a script at something. We're only accustomed to, we self-medicate. We're stressed, we drink. We're stressed, we eat. We're stressed, we whatever, fill in the blank. Like we just self-medicate because nobody taught us how to partner with our nervous system, how to partner with our engine to get things kind of moving again, to get things stabilizing again. We haven't been taught some of these basics. We're learning, we're getting better. Like since we have live video like this, since we have reels everywhere, like we can listen to the Barbara O'Neills of the world now and the Dr. Eric Bergs and whatever. We can listen to a lot of people giving us a lot of really good tips on how to regulate something or how to actually get on top of something. And we don't have to live this way. Now, a lot of times when I'm talking to women, you might know, like, this is what I would say to somebody who when you reach out to me and talk to me about, being a team member, you might know that you need something different in your life. It's kind of like you already know, you're like, well, I already have a really good work ethic. I already know what it's like to be consistent. I already know what it's like. I just don't have enough belief in myself, maybe in the moment. And I need somebody to walk me through that, right? But most people will stop themselves from taking that step. And the familiar feeling of staying in your stressed, it feels too stressful to leave your stress because you're scared that's going to add more stress. And so you stay in it, even if your health is tanking, even if it's kind of like you're in the water and you're like, you're paddling for like to stay above water. And somebody is saying to you, here, grab my hand. I promise you, I will catch you. And you're like, I can't. And you just feel like you're so overwhelmed that you don't even know because you think that you have to take on more stress in order to add a component to your life that can actually relieve stress. Does that make sense? Like that's a for real conversation with people. If your job is that stressful, listen, your health is not worth it. I have somebody in my life, this is back in the 90s, so it's an old story, but still true, in a CFO position of a major company back in the 90s, bleeding from her eye because the stress was so high. Worth it? Worth it? You think? No. You will literally, whatever stressful situation that you're in, some of them they can't go away right away. When I was taking care of my mom with dementia, I could not speed that up. I had to walk that journey as best as I could. I had to prioritize my sleep. I had to stay on track the best I could. I had to try to keep stopping my cycle of overeating nuts, stop that stress eating, right? But I still was working all the time at that time, while I was doing that, I was doing this because I knew that season was going to end and I was going to want to be doing something differently than I was doing before. But I also made sure that I prioritized my sleep as much as humanly possible because I knew enough to know that if I didn't do that, my body was going to tank, and I couldn't do that. So even though there were definitely times where I'm treading water, and there were definitely times I was stress eating, and there were definitely times that I did lose sleep, and there were all of those things, and there were, crisis situations in a Costco bathroom, and life got really hard sometimes. But I still controlled what I could control, and I saw past it and said, when she is gone, and she died at 94, when she is gone, I'm going to want a different journey. And that's what I was doing. So while I was taking care of her, I was like learning how to, whatever. I was learning some sales. I was learning some marketing. I was learning how to, my brain hurt from learning technology because this did not come naturally to me, people. But I was learning stuff so that I had a track to run on. But when I was talking about the stress relief probiotic, this is what it literally says. And the testimonies just come in. And this is what people say. They repeat back to me what this is telling you it can do. Manage occasional stress to support your whole self. Occasional stress is a natural part of life and finding ways to manage it is beneficial for your mind, your body, and your mood. And then they tell you about the probiotic strains that it's powered by. Supports. This is where I didn't understand that this was really true. I thought this was odd, but now I get the testimonies from you guys. Supports mental focus. Fights mental fatigue. Have you been feeling mental fatigue? And promotes a sense of calm and productivity. That's from a probiotic. What? Why? Right? But then, of course, even more, it helps your gut health and your immunity. So my daughter said, listen, when I'm having a stressful day, and she really, she has 3 children under the age of 3. They're all 18 months apart. Her life is a little stressful, right? A little stressful sometimes. It's a lot. It's a very busy season. It's a heavier season, right? She said, I will pause, take 2 of these, and I'm like, whoo, it like takes the edge off. And I'm like, that is crazy to me because I don't think that anybody would think that in connection with a probiotic. But anyway, okay. Pam, hi, Pam. Good to see you. Hey, it's just you and me here online. It's just you and me. There's a local event coming up back here again at my place on the 15th of February. It'll be a little different, but it will be wellness, probably like mixed with some skincare stuff too. Not sure. I'm not the one that's heading it up, but there you go. Just telling you. So yeah, I'll send you that cortisol cart, the cortisol care cart. I will send that to you. Okay. Linda, I know I'm late responding, but okay. Yep. That's what I thought. Ooh, yes, she says. Pam's always looking for a good day out. It's a Saturday, by the way. Quit drinking and take care of our gut health. It's so true. Self-medicating. Say we stop drinking and taking probiotics. We need to stop drinking alcohol, right? Yep. To self-medicate. Yeah. Alcohol. Okay. Get away from the moral conversation. Like that's not even what I'm talking about, right? Like Jesus turned water into wine. I'm not confused. It's whatever. But alcohol just as a substance in any level is actually, your body recognizes it as a poison and it has to deal with it as a poison. So anytime you're making your body work harder when you're trying to back up the bus and you're actually trying to go a different direction, you're just really, you're making your own life significantly more challenging. That's all. And so, like we have to actually take steps to, and I went to Italy, and I mean, I would drink wine if wine was good for me. And I know there's like people will say that, oh, but it is, whatever. I just have not studied it enough to know or care, but it's like I would love a nice glass of a beautiful wine with a dinner, or whatever. I just don't. I don't drink. And I think that probably for just a lot of reasons. But anytime that we have any tendency to self-medicate, whether it's with food or alcohol or anything, first of all, no shame. It's really common, right? Our society has set us up to be such high stress all the time. And it's like, what have we done? And then what does it matter? There's somebody on TikTok, her name is Deborah Fink, and she just passed away yesterday. She had been battling a stage 4 cancer for 5 years. And quite the story of resilience and determination. And in the face of, literally, she had a tumor that was inside of her heart. And in the face of that, encouraging other people to live their best life up until she passed. I mean, an amazing testimony, right? And there's so many things that just don't matter. So I feel like, when we did a little bit of a New Year's conversation on these pieces, like how to view your 2025, this is one of them that I feel like this is like such an important conversation. If you have something that is stressful in your life and you have the ability to change it, change it. Make this year the year that you change it. Make this the year. Don't continue in the same cycle, listening to the conversation in your head that tells you that changing it, switching it, moving it, fixing it, turning a different direction is going to be even more stressful. So therefore you self-sabotage and you stay in the same place that is familiar to you inside of your stress. If you can change it, change it. I couldn't change my mother's dementia, but I could change what I was doing during that time. So I did. I'm so glad I prioritized the things that I prioritized, because then now here I am, like, I didn't start going live like this until after she was gone. And I felt the freedom to be able to live the life that I wanted to live. But I was making intentional decisions during it. Do it for yourself this year. So if you have a really bad, dumb job that's just barely paying your bills. Now, I'm not you. I can't like tell people what to do, but maybe you do look for a different job, right? Maybe you do open up your mind to like other possibilities so that you aren't so stressed all the time. I see it all the time. I see it all the time in people around me, and I'm like, oh, and I just have kind of cornered myself into a nice little pocket for a minute, right? Where my stress is not great. Ah, Debbie, you're so awesome. I will send it to you, Barb, when I get off. I will do that. Yeah. And you guys on TikTok, you can actually go right up there to my site and you'll see it right there. It's a cortisol cart. You'll see it. I'll send it to you though, Debbie and Barb and Pam. Not Debbie, Barb and Pam. Anyway, so just, oh, am I able to look up the benefits of moringa? Good afternoon, Anna. Beautiful Anna. Good to see you. I will look that up. That is definitely something I have not been privy to at all. So just like some of y'all might have tried berberine as a supplement for insulin resistance, I've never tried it. It's just never been in my line. I just don't have a connection to it, right? And so inside of that conversation, then, there are things that I think will work for some people and not work for other people. This is where you have to self-assess. Okay? There's self-assessing. Yeah, it says that it helps with blood sugar balance. It's rich in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties. Yes, that looks great. I've never tried it. Just think about how many ingredients God has given us. Just think about that. There are so many answers. We should not be tying ourselves to the train wreck of the matrix in that way. Like it's mind numbing sometimes. You don't have TikTok. Please send me the cortisol cart is what I mean. Oh, Carrie. Okay, so this is the deal. Okay, Barbara, are you in the United States? Curious. I can sell in the United States, Canada, and the Dominican Republic, just to let you know. And Carrie, you guys, your names, your comments will go away when I get off of my live because they don't stay on TikTok and they don't stay. Good morning, Carrie. Thank you. You guys are being so good to me, giving me presents and everything on TikTok. You guys are amazing. Hold on. I'll write that down. If I do not, so Carrie, you're USA. That's good. How about you, Barbara? I'd like to know. I only see because it says Auslander, so it makes me wonder if you're in Australia. So Carrie, if you don't hear from me, make sure that you reach out, okay? Because sometimes I get off of here. Good morning. Oh, you are USA. Perfect. Sometimes I get off of here and I go to look up somebody's name and it won't pull up for me. Like it's a weird universe. But I will try to look both of you up and send you the cortisol cart. I will do that. So you can't find the cart up on my site? Seriously? Hold on. I'm going to look it up then and see if I can see it. Hold on. I just put it on there this morning. And here we go. I could probably show it to you guys too on here. Let's do that. Okay, so unplug. Here we go. This is what my website looks like. So that's me. I wish I had my before and after picture on here. It's literally just one page. It's just one. At the very bottom, you can get on the VIP magnesium list if you want to. How many buttons down right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 button down. It says cortisol cart right there. Can you see that? 8 button down. It says cortisol cart. Okay. You can look at that. And again, I just put everything in there that I could possibly think of that would be beneficial for anybody that is looking, because it is to have help with the stress, because I'm telling you, like your best friend, your insulin and your cortisol, they're besties. They're messing each other up. It's kind of like this whole relationship going on. And we want so much to fix something on one side without fixing the other, but it's a full conversation. You're so welcome, Barbara. It's a full conversation. Oh, you don't know how to do it? No problem. Oh my goodness. Don't even be sorry. So basically my site is right there. It's my first last name.com. I can't, if I point up higher, my finger disappears. But if you go to that site, first last name.com, kirstenliebelt.com, then you'll see those blue buttons and then you can push on that. And I always tell people, make sure that you go to the top of the page. There's a person icon. If you're looking at a product, a cart, anything, once you're on my website, go to the very top and there's a person icon. Click on that and register with your name so that you can get the best shipping. Like, don't miss out on the best shipping. Don't miss out on, good things like that for yourself, right? Make sure you take advantage of that. And then there's also at the very top, you'll see it says, text me by clicking here. It's the first button at the top. Text me by clicking here. And that is a great way to be able to just message me and say, okay, so I'm looking at the cart. I don't know about this and I don't know about that, but what about this? And I'll completely have a conversation with you and help you navigate. Because inside of the cart, yes, you can check on every single box and you can add it to your own cart. But you might only want to pick 3 things and add them to your cart. It just depends on what you're looking for and where you are in your own journey. Like everybody's in a different place in their own journey. And you just have to identify and assess what you're going through, you know? And so I'm more than happy to have those conversations to help, because I'll tell you, these are the things that I wish that I would have known earlier. Super glad that I finally did, though. I'm not unhappy, because now here I am, you guys, I'm going into my 60s, and I feel like I'm kind of like springboarding, because I feel like I'm at a very good balanced foundation. Like I said, you know, I've got my sleep dialed in, etc. I've lost 3 sizes in my 50s because I viewed everything through the lens of insulin resistance. And that's where the trio comes in. So when you're on my site, look at the trio testimonials. The trio buttons all have a yellow star on them. You'll see that. But that's what I did in my 50s. And I'm so grateful that I did. So it's never too late. It is never, ever, ever too late for you to get a handle on the way that your body is functioning. Terry lost 40 pounds last year. She's 62. And she did it in 8 months. You know, I'm just telling you, like, and I can't remember, was it Kimberly who her A1C 5.8 down to 6.8 down to a 5.9, lost 20 pounds in 5 months. You can have a testimony for yourself too. You can get your stress down. You can make better decisions. And listen, if you are somebody who does want to add an extra stream of income, reach out to me. I usually don't talk about that as much when I'm talking about the products. But when it comes to stress, the truth is that there are people left and right that are struggling so much. And like an extra $500 a month would bring such relief. Just saying. So again, don't sabotage yourself. Reach out to me and I will help people. Or maybe it's somebody that you know. It may or may not be a fit for you. Clearly not a fit for everybody. And that's why I talk to people. So anyway, have a really good day, you guys. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., I will see you again here. Be here or be square. It doesn't rhyme that way. Be there or be square. Have a really terrific day. And if you need anything, reach out. And I will send cortisol care carts to people that wanted those. Okay? So we will chat very soon. Have such a great day, Carol. You guys are so awesome. You guys are so good to me. All right. And I hope that answered your question, VH. And if it didn't, message me right here on TikTok. You're welcome, Terry. God bless you. Have such a great day. See you later.